नमामि यामिनीनाथलेखालङ्कृतकुन्तलां भवानीं भवसन्तापनिर्वापणसुधानदीम्। स्वागतम्। अद्य विसर्गसन्धेः कांश्चन विशेषान् पश्यामः. We shall learn a few specialities or special cases and exceptions of the Visarga Sandhi as it relates to the Repha-desha. So first of all, we see the first exception as being the Rebhanta Avyayanam Pare api Repha-desha bhavati. If there is a Rephanta Avyaya, let's split this term, Rephanta Avyaya, Repha Anta Avyaya. So we know what an Avyaya is. These are the indeclinables which either belong to an adverb, or they are adverbs, or they are conjunctions, or they are interjections, or they are sometimes vocative particles, etc. Those are avyayas. Now there is a special category of avyayas, quite a small category, small team of 3 or 4. That's it. These are the rephanta avyayas, which means anta, they have the end, they end with the repha, the ra, the raka, the vyanjana ra, they end with that in their original form. These are called the rephanta avyayas. And in this case, which is the first case, where the para is the what is that, mrudu or the swara, in that case always the such and these rephanta avyayas always get the repha desha, which means under the first case, that is where the para is the mrudu swara prathamaha, if it is the mrudu vyanjana or the swara, and the purva pada itself, the entire purva pada is actually a rephanta avyaya. Whatever be its upadha, regardless of what its upadha is, the rephanta avyaya always gets the repha desha under this case. Being the first case, we'll see the example punaha plus janma. Ja is the mrudu vyanjana. Okay, so it is the case 1. You come here. Now under these, now this Vishesha applies only to the case 1. Okay, we are discussing the case 1. We saw the Sakara Desha originally, which was the case 2 example. Now we are yet to discuss other case instances of case 2, but now we have stuck with case 1 for the last 4 lectures. Ukara Desha, Ukara Desha, Lopa, Repha Desha, and now the Visheshas. So in this case, in the first case, we'll see that the Purva Pada, entire Purva Pada itself is an Avyaya. Okay. Now how do you know if it is an Avyaya? Not through any grammatical or syntactic means, but only by, if you read about Avyayas in the literature, you will see what an Avyaya is. And you will see that Punaha is actually an Avyaya. In its original form, it actually is Punar. So this Punar, which being an Avyaya, ends with the Ra, Repha. So it is called the Rephanta Avyaya. Okay. Now when this Punaha, being the Purva Pada, has come in the first case, because Ja being Mrudu Vyanjana takes us to the first case, always it gets the Repha Desha. So it gets Punarjanma. Punarjanma. Although the Upadha is A. You see, for the case of Repha Desha, it demanded that the Purva, the Upadha be not any Hrasva A or the Dirgha A Akara. But here, regardless, now this rule overrules the Repha Desha. So it becomes the Punar Janma itself. Did you understand that? Some more examples we shall discuss later. Then Apavada, the second exception is Sambodhana Vibhaktau Prayuktasya Rikarantasya Namavadasya api Repha Desha bhavati. Now what does this mean? Sambodhana Vibhakti. The Vibhakti, the case where, now this is the Namapada. Okay, these are the Samskrita nouns, noun creatures, which are, if they are used in the Sambodhana Vibhakti, now these Namapadas are Rikaranta. Now you know many Rikarantas in either lingas, the Pullinga or the Strilinga, or maybe even also in the neuter Napumsaka linga, like Datra, Kartra, Bhratra, Swasra, Duhitra, Naptra, Jamatra, Pitra. all of that. All these are the rikarantas because they end with r. And if they're used in the sambodhana vibhakti, like he pitaha in the ekavachana form, he pitaha, he mataha, swasaha, bhrataha, naptaha, dataha, kartaha, all of these, if they're used in the sambodhana vibhakti as the purva pada, the entire purva pada itself is satisfies these three conditions of being a nama pada, a rikaranta, and it is used in the sambodhana vibhakti in ekavachana form, then also it gets the repha desha. So it becomes, regardless of what the upadha is, pitaha plus agacha, it becomes pitar. The visarga changes to ra, so it becomes pitar agacha. If you combine it and write it, it becomes pitaragacha by doing mela. Pitaragacha, pitaha agacha, pitaragacha. Okay. Similarly, like swasaha, you have swasaragacha, mataha, mataragacha. Now this repha desha happens in the second case alone. I mean first case alone, where the parakshara is mriduswara prathamaha, that we have been discussing since many times for the vishesha, repha desha, ukara desha and lopa. Okay, always keep that in mind. Then apavada, the third exception is, now this exception supersedes and it overrules all the others. It has a larger domain. It says that yada pare rakaraha or the repha eva asti tadanim upadhayaha dirghaswarah karaniyah visargasya lopah cha. Now this is somewhat a combination of repha desha and a lopa. How this happens is, see, let's read this sentence again. Yada pare rakaraha asti, in the para akshara being the ra or the repha, the vyanjana ra, eva asti. Now, this can't be any other mridu vyanjana. It should be specifically and exclusively the ra. This vyanjana ra, if it begins with the ra, the para akshara being ra, tadanim, then upadhayaha dirgha, whatever be the upadha, you do the dirgha. Do the dirgha, upadhayaha dirgha karaniyaha visargasya lopah cha. Now this rule speaks of all those cases, it concerns with all those cases where the repha desha was said to happen. Okay, so wherever the repha, oh, this is important, wherever the repha desha was said to happen, was ordained so. For example, in the first case where it was a rephanta vyaya, second case where it was the sambodhana vibhakti, or the original case where it was any other swara but or like the e, u, all of that. In all these three cases where the repha desha was to happen, but if the para exclusively was ra, the repha, then only then, okay, only then elongate the upadha. It becomes like bhanu becomes bhanu. But you would ask, then what will happen of a? A will remain as it is because it is already in the dirgha form. Its elongation will not change it to pluta. Please understand that. Elongation is not just adding 1 plus 1 plus 1. Elongation is actually a status. So anything below it will get promoted to the status of dirgha. So bhanu becomes bhanu. If it is bhanu, it remains bhanu because o is already a dirgha swara. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so upadhayaha dirgha karaniha. So you have elongated it, and then you delete the visarga. The visarga also deletes. So let me use an example to explain this. Bhanuhu yung ratrau. First of all, this is the mridu vyanjana, case 1. What is the upadha? Now the upadha is u. So you came back to this case where repha desha was said to happen. Because any swara in the upadha but the a or a will result in a repha desha. Okay. But this exception rules that the para akshara being exclusively ra in this case will make the visarga disappear. It will prevent the rephadesha, and it will in fact result in the elongation of the upadha. So change the bhanu to bhanu and then delete the visarga. So it becomes bhanu ratrau. Bhanu ratrau. Is that clear? Okay. Some examples. Now this set of examples deals with all the three: ukaradesha, ukaradesha, lopa, rephadesha, and the visheshas. Okay. So let's see. Saha apaniti. Now you remember that when the saha or esha comes, quickly remember that lopa rule, and you will say that if the para is any vyanjana or any swara but the hraswa a, always delete it. So remember that. But here in the first example itself, we have the hraswa a, so you can't apply that rule. Therefore, you should do the ukara desha as usual. You see, you remember this. The pare akaraha asti chet lopaha na bhavati apitu ukara desha syat. Therefore, you do the usual ukara desha, put the avagraha, it becomes sopaniti. Sopaniti. This is the typo here. Please excuse me for that. Now here saha ashvasiti. Ashvasiti. Now again saha, okay. So be careful. Now you see what the para is. Oh, para is not hraswa. Don't even think anything else. Just delete the visarga. So it becomes sa ashvasiti. No more sandhis. Sa ashvasiti. Esha marshti. Okay, the para is ma, mridu vyanjana, but the pura para is esha. Delete it. Esha marshti. Similarly here, esha bhramati. Esha bhramati, because there is any other vyanjana here. So delete it. The only exception was when the hraswa akara occurred, like in the first example. But now there is nothing like that, so just delete it. Similarly, you have already a combined word, sava. This pause, this blank space says that saha was probably there, so you split it as saha yung va. Esho khila. Now like the first example, you have the avagraha, split it into the visarga and the a. Esha akhila. Now see this punaruthanam. We discussed that punar is the rephanta avyaya. So remove that. What remains? Utthanam. Keep it aside. So this punar becomes punaha yung utthanam in the original state. Antaha antarjwalanam. This antaha again is one of the rephanta avyayani. It comes under that team. The team of people of padas which consist of avyayas, a subset of avyayas which end with the vyanjana ra, the repha. Antar is one such example, so it is split as antaha plus jwalanam. Antarashtriya. Now this is a common mistake that people do. Maybe it's not a mistake in vernacular languages when you say antarashtriya, but that is wrong. You see, now let's go this way. Antaha plus rashtriya. How will you now? You see this, the vyanjana is mridu vyanjana, but it starts with ra. So be careful. You see the upadha. Upadha is okay. So does that mean you do the ukara desha or a lopa? Be careful. This antaha, the entire word itself, we have just discussed that it is then avyaya, rephanta avyaya. So you come to this exception. Rephanta avyayanam pare rephadesha syat. So you do the rephadesha. It becomes antar rashtriyaha. This is how the vernacular equivalent of antar rashtriya, international competitions, has come. Use that word there. But there's the third rule here, which has a broader domain, which says wherever the rephadesha happens, as well as the para being ra, which is the case here, like you see rashtriya ra, it begins with ra, and the rephadesha was said to happen here. Then you do an elongation of the purvakshara, upadha. It becomes anta, and then delete the visarga. It becomes antarashtriya. Antarashtriya. You see that? Then swaha and ga. Again, swaha is a rephanta avyaya. Suvaha rephanta avyaya. Mahaha rephanta avyaya. Punaha rephanta avyaya. Antaha. All of these are rephanta avyayani. So then, if you have a mrudu vyanjana which is not ra, close your eyes and put the ra. You get the rephadesha by the first exception. You see here, it always gets the rephadesha. So it becomes swarga. Swarga. Oh, now you come to know, oh, that's right. This is how the word swarga has emerged. Swaha and om. Again, O is any swara. So rephadesha does not bother with what the paraswara is. So just on this is the rephantavya. So it always gets the rephadesha. It gets swar om, swarom in the first case. Swarom. Then suvaha loka, suvar loka, because again la is case 1, mridu vyanjana. Suvaha is a rephantavya, so it becomes suvar loka. You see this is, there are two horns here which has probably overlapped with the previous word, but this ra is there. Suvar loka, suvar loka. Then again you have om mahaha. Mahaha again a rephantavya, it becomes maharom. Mataha etu. Again, now you see this is the second exception. When there is the rikaranta namapada with this in the sambodhana ekavachana. Mataha, oh mother. Mataha, matar, mother. Mataha etu. Please come. Mataha etu. Here you see, because you have used the sambodhana vibhakti as the entire purva pada itself, it always gets the rephadesha. It becomes mataretu. Okay. See, it always gets the rephadesha. Now that always is in quotes. Always in the sense, in every case where it belongs to the case 1. In all instances which come under the case 1, in all those instances you have to get the rephadesha. So it becomes mataretu. Then swasaha nuda. Again mrudu vyanjana. So it is a sambodhana vibhakti in swasaha, meaning O sister. Again you get the rephadesha swasar nuda. Again pitaramba. Similarly pitaha amba. Again O father and mother. O father. Pitaha amba. Pitaramba. Now if you didn't know this rule, this exception of pitaha and agacha, this 1 second exception, you would have thought, oh, aha is the upadha, para is a, aha a. Oh, you remember that aha a comes in? Yes, ukaradesha. Ukaradesha. Let me take you back there. Ukaradesha. Aha a. The second scenario. Aha a. That becomes an oh. Oh. So that it would have become pitomba. Pitomba. Is it not? By that rule. But this exception is operating on, is prohibiting such an ukara desha there. Esha viditva, that pause, that blank space will signify that visarga was there. So eshaha viditva. Bhanu ratri, this was discussed. Bhanu ratrihi. Punaha rajyam. Now again, punaha being a rephantavya with the para in the case 1 should have got the rephadesha, it would have become punar rajyam. But since the parakshara is ra by the third rule, since the parakshara is ra, repha, you elongate the upadha, it becomes puna and then delete the visarga. Puna rajyam. Now ravi ramate. Similarly, it was originally ravihi ramate. Ihi would get the rephadesha. Parakshara is ra. So it becomes ravir ramate. It should have become ravir ramate. But since the parakshara begins with ra, the repha itself, you elongate the upada, it becomes ravihi. And then delete the visarga, it becomes ravi ramate. Similarly with the mataha rajate. Even the mataha should have got the rephadesha by the second rule, by second exception, because it is the sambodhana vibhakti. But in this case, the parakshara begins with the ra. So the third exception kicks in and it prevents the rephadesha from happening. It elongates the upadha. It becomes mataha. and then it deletes the visarga, it becomes Mata Rajate. Now here Duhita Yung Agatya. Is this the same like Mata Rajate? No. You see, this is a tricky question. Duhita, what is the Purva here? Would you say it is A? No. If it was the, it can't be the Visarga Sandhi if the Purva Akshara is A. But the Purva Akshara is indeed A. Therefore, it is not a Visarga Sandhi. You see this? Duhita. There is no Visarga here at all. So it is Duhita. Now this is where you are joining the words. It is not already a conjoined word. You see, this is Duhita Gatya is the Samhita word, which has already been joined by Sandhi. Now these are two separate words which are indicated by the combination of which is indicated by this plus, which means these two are independent words. They have not been combined already. They need to be combined. And so this is the Purva and the Para. Purva is A, Para is A, but this is not a Visarga Sandhi. Now if you can remember the Savarna Dirgha, it is the example of Savarna Dirgha. It becomes Duhita Gatya. A plus A is A, so Duhita Gatya. That's the digression there. But this is not a Visarga Sandhi, is what the summary is. Message. So now in the next class we shall see the other cases. The second case, the Ithare, the second case, which was what the Sakara Desha belonged to. We shall see what those specialities are. Now here the Visheshas end with finish the first case, that is where the Mrudu Vyanjana or the Swara was there as the Para. Now that case is over. In the next class we shall see the second case. We have already seen the Sakara Desha where the if you can remember the what was the Para there? Sutatha, Shuchicha, and then you have the Shtitha, right? If you haven't watched that video, please do so. Now here in the next class we shall see what the other cases are. Dhanyavadaha.